We'll hold it. Yeah, you're like. She's waiting for Govind to send the request.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
Hi, ma'am.
Yes.
Sorry,
Yeah.
the time was finishing. Yes, ma'am.
Well,
So the
that's all right.
coming back to the dire scenario is, ma'am, you're right completely. And let's just take this from a broader angle. There's a question asked by Kajal here. Does the LGBT community can they take the defense of the DV Act?
Yeah, okay. It's actually it's a gender specific. It's
Yes,
a
correct.
yeah, it's a woman actually. So this is a little tricky. But if it's a
Can a woman
woman,
go against another woman? Can a
yes.
go? She can.
Uh yes, a woman can go mother-in-law, for example, because
Oh, okay.
it's a person, no, now because a
Yeah.
male adult has been dropped by the Supreme Court
Okay.
now, in
Okay.
principle.
Okay.
Yes, it has
So
been
now,
dropped. Yes.
so now he can go
So
against a woman. Can
yes,
go.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, yes.
But
Because the
a
Supreme Court
man
has
cannot
dropped it.
invoke it against another man, right? And a
Yeah,
man
when
cannot
it's
even invoke.
no, not a man. Yeah, where a male adult was dropped, it was only person. There was a case which came in. I don't know whether before the court in Karnataka or Kerala, one of the cases, and it said
Yes, ma'am.
no, a man can also go. But the Supreme Court then overruled it. They said no, a man can't go. It is only women specific. It's women
So,
specific. It's for them.
yes.
Yes. Yeah.
So yes. So there is Anshul Bajaj here. He has two questions.
Hmm.
He has one question that what can a person do if he's agreed by a magistrate's order? That is very simple. He just has to appeal it.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's
Appeal. Go to the Court of Session and appeal. Yeah.
what is he saying? If there is a false case on a man or under the DV Act, what recourse does he have?
False case. Oh, that then you have to go under malicious prosecution,
Okay.
isn't
Malicious
it?
process.
Yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
and damages if he wants, reputation,
Civil,
tort
yes,
law,
definitely.
tort law. Yeah, also
Okay.
seek damages. Yeah.
So, in all of that, ma'am, what is the remedy for me? If they are going through domestic violence, if they are being beaten up at their houses, if the wife
Husbands are
is,
being beaten up.
yes. The question
Well,
is that because
no, no.
honestly, ma'am, this is the problem. But the point is that either some are too proud, or even if they're not too proud, and the fact is that the laws are such, that
Yeah.
what can go, there has to be some matrimonial recourse for them. They can go under the IPC, I agree. But what can they do?
Yeah, look, for some time, because domestic violence is prevalent against women in our country mostly, isn't it?
Yes,
If
mostly, yes.
yeah, but if you talk about states or Western countries, uh, 1 out of 7 people could be a man who's being subjected to domestic violence. Okay,
All
so they have, yeah, yes, they have action. But here we have not reached that stage yet. So I feel that it is up to the court to see, the evidence has to be again sifted properly to see the truth. And the judges have a lot of responsibility, the magistrate and also the other people, because misuse of law will be there. I
yes,
agree, it
yes.
will be there.
Everything.
Okay. But then for some time, let the law stay, let the law remain, and then guidelines will be issued by the judges, and then let's see how it goes forward. But as of
Definitely.
now,
So,
I agree with you. Some people are being subjected, men are being
no, ma'am,
subjected.
I
So
don't
much
disagree
tension.
with the whole philosophy of it and the jurisprudence behind it. I agree with it. But I am just questioning one question. How many men have to be beaten up for us to reach that stage?
Well, I think in urban areas, it may be a little difficult for women to beat their husbands, depending on the sizes again, okay, and how
Yes.
strong you are. But in
Yeah.
rural areas, you do find women at times, even if you look at the slum area, a
Yeah.
woman can pick up a chappal and hit the man.
Yes.
Okay, we cannot do it. We don't do it.
Yeah, that happens. That happens there both ways. Yes,
Yes,
correct.
yes.
Definitely. So yes, definitely there is going to be some time before we
Yeah,
realize the importance
it'll
of
take
it.
some time. It'll take some time.
It will definitely. Ma'am, coming to the question, I had this personal question, or this is from my side. Is we got a lot of other questions, but I'm just going to plug mine in. Is the fact that Definitely. I was reading reports, and NALSA, the National Legal Service Authority, the State Legal Service Authority have all released their report. But there's been a spike in one thing, cybercrime, and the second thing is domestic violence. So, what is the remedy? Let's just start from base. Going like there's a girl stuck in a household who's suffering mental violence, who's suffering from domestic violence, let's say physical, and she's definitely deprived. What is First of all, a lot of them don't want to come out in the open and discuss it.
Mm.
It's starting from there that she's a girl who's not even ready to admit it to herself because the study done by NALSA saw that 77% women didn't
Hmm.
even tell anyone about the domestic violence incident. Not reported. Reporting was 83%. 77% didn't even mention it to anyone that they had been beaten up or they had been, subjected to some, some kind of physical violence. So, where do we even start?
Here is where sensitization becomes important. Okay, sensitization regarding everybody in the society, all sections, whether it is police officers, whether it is children in school, colleges, universities, other institutions, working people, and I think men need to be sensitized a lot about it also.
Yes,
And
good.
the sensitization should be carried into the rural areas because the mindset is that if we talk about women, if a woman talks about that she's being beaten up by her husband or in-laws are being violent towards her, she feels that they will not accept her in the family. She's scared. She's scared that she'll be beaten up again. Okay, so she needs to have the courage to come out. So unless she's given that confidence, domestic violence as a crime, this incident will not stop because it's been there since a very long time and it cuts across all classes, castes, creeds, races, whether you're
That
rich, whether you're poor, it is there. So
it is.
the
It is
idea is,
global. Yeah.
yeah. So the girl child, when she's, when she's being brought up, the stereotype must stop. Okay, she should be given that confidence. The parents should give it to her that no matter what happens to her when she grows up, when she gets married, if she's unhappy and anybody is violent towards her, she can come back. It's her house. Okay, she should get that confidence. And also, when she goes into a matrimonial home, her husband should give her that confidence. His mindset should change. Okay, and the laws also should look upon her as a human being. Like when you look at the judgments passed by the Supreme Court in various matters relating to women, in one such judgment, one Supreme Court judge had written that a woman, when she gets married, a girl, she's transplanted from one soil into another. Okay, she's leaving her home. She grew up there for years, and her new home is going to be very, very different. So she has to be tackled in a very sensitive manner. Do you understand? But at the same time, she is coming with a lot of aspirations, with a lot of hopes. Okay, and she's leaving her own home, to enter into a new house. And she wants the same comfort what she had in her parents' house. And she's not wrong over there. Because if a man were to leave his house, he would also want the same comfort if he goes to the girl's house. You understand? It's
I
mutual.
understand.
So this sensitivity that she also has desires, she also has the right to be educated, she has the right to work, she has the right to grow, she has the right to be happy. Okay, it's a universal right. Give it to her. This is what should be acknowledged by everybody. And you
Yeah.
can't show it only because you have physical power or otherwise, because it will come back to you in some form. It will come back. So that is what I think the culture, the mindset, the social norm, the awareness, the sensitization, awareness about this particular legislation, and the support coming from the central government, from the state government, from different institutions, from the agencies like police, all this would inculcate confidence in women. And that she should be able to come out. Because in rural areas, when the lockdown happened, the UP police was very kind enough and sensible enough to give a telephone number to all women who were subject to domestic violence to come and report the matter to them on the phone. Because he
Correct.
said,
Correct.
yeah, So this should continue. Though now in Allahabad High Court, some petitioner has petitioned that many women are being subjected to domestic violence, and a report has been sought now from the police regarding the matter, and from the state government concerned also, what action has been taken. This is not only in Allahabad High Court; it's also in Karnataka High Court. You see, so many high courts are doing it.
One of the major aspects I did find across was when I was reading my research on NALSA and all of this, is that there are a lot of Facebook and Instagram pages and groups which are which lead to a woman finding out. Social media is playing a big part because everybody's stuck in their house. They can't talk on the phone because they're really small houses. And the entire report which I was going to go through, which had how economic, the income, the how alcohol basically. One thing,
Yes.
alcohol is one of the
there are many
major things.
factors.
Alcohol is
Unemployment.
one of the factors which doubles the chance of domestic violence happening.
Yes, true. You're right.
So
Yes.
the point is that they were across social media. There were pages that were helping, that were telling these women, you can't talk to us if you can't talk to someone, and then they were arranging many things for them. So that the final day they want to leave the house, they want to have that session with their husband. Everything can be looked into. So I really wanted to ask you, ma'am, that somewhere when you're stuck in the household, right, you can't
Yes.
leave, you venture out. Social media is one such outfit. When you get to talk to anyone in the world, it is a whole world in itself. So, what do you say about social media? Like, what is the part that domestic violence way that social media could play a part or something?
See, through social media, friends, relatives, you can talk to them, okay? And social media, meaning here, like Twitter, they've started some kind of respite for women who are being subjected to domestic violence.
Correct. You're right, ma'am. They've started a
Chat
hotline.
service, hotline.
Yeah, chatbot. So yes. Correct.
Hotline is
They
being
started for
started.
domestic violence, right?
And also, some NGOs in the US, for example, in New York, they've started a
Yeah.
chat service where the woman can log in and she can complain about her abuser. And at the same time, there's an exit button where she will press, and the husband or her perpetrator wouldn't know that she has reached out to somebody. Otherwise, he would beat her up. So that kind
Oh
of a thing,
yeah.
because the women are scared to talk. Because it's a
Yeah.
small house, where will she talk? Where will she talk?
The
And
point is
there
they
was
can
an
walk.
instant, yes.
Please go on, man. I'm sorry. I'm going. Go ahead.
No, there was an incident where a woman, when her husband slapped her, she locked herself in the room till the police arrived in a rural area because she was scared she'll be beaten up. Until the police came to the house, she did not leave her room. She was locked in. She said, "I'm not coming out." So the
So
fear
these
is
are
there, no fear of life.
fear.
The
Yeah, fear.
threat always, yeah.
It
Threat
is the
is
fear.
always
It is
not up.
actually the fear that is the major chains around their, you could say around the hands and the legs. They
Yeah.
could leave if they wanted to. For the people who's actually bad, for someone who's, going through it, like you said, he can't even slap.
Hmm.
There can be no physical violence, not her, not him. But the
Hmm.
point is that a lot of keep the girls is the fear that what will happen. I've
Hmm.
seen many such instances. One of them, the very popular video is this girl went to a vet for her dog with her boyfriend and she gave a note where she asked them
Uh,
to call the cops and the cops came. And the reason she couldn't tell anyone at that point was because he had a gun on him. And he
uh,
wouldn't kill anyone, right? He was that type of a man. When you're stuck in
hmm.
a relationship, it is only that you go and you fight and you make your way through
Hmm.
it. And some people don't find it. Like the major fear is the major cringing and the crippling factor that
One is
puts
fear, the other is social stigma. Still, or a woman, it is difficult for her to stay alone. If she has a good job, she has a good status in the society, she can still manage. So support should come from the, maybe natal family, parents, etc.
and
Because
never the NGOs, ma'am. It's about just building a life. I think so. It's
yes,
about today we can do anything and everything. Everything is connected. There are online jobs.
resources, the
Yeah, there's
government
so many
must pump in
resources
resources.
which quite frankly women in the 80s or 90s even 90s didn't have.
Hmm.
Now since 2000 these 20s there are thousands of ways to make money. If a woman wants to walk out, she can walk out.
Yeah, but here you're talking about educated women, no? Educated
Yeah,
women. But I can tell you one thing, there are many women who may be educated but are not working. Their husbands still want them to be housewives. And they also, for some time, they just tolerate violence till the children grow up. So when the children grow up, the children are settled, then maybe they go in for divorce. Because sometime back, a few
That is
years
very
ago,
surprising for the husband. That is
yes,
surprising,
yes,
because
yes.
he's like, okay, why did you put up with this? Like, this is for the children. I never, and
It's only for the children. It's only for
correct.
the children. So these things also happen. So
These
that's
things are
why.
like the time bombs that are just waiting to
So the
happen for.
yeah. So the mindset has to change of the man, of the father, the husband, of the in-laws, of the women also. Some women also think like that. You know,
Yeah.
the women also think like men. The conditioning. This is the conditioning. So deconditioning has to be done, and then a new conditioning has to come, take its place, where there's going to be a lot of space to each other, respect for each other, isn't it? Because things can be resolved if you're ready to do it. If you keep on creating blocks, if you keep on thinking that no, you are stronger, or you keep on, showing your might, obviously things would not improve. So it's since childhood how a particular child is brought up. And the boys are always brought up, with that feeling, oh, they have to be strong, may show people, okay? And whatever they say should be taken as the Lord's word. And even the movies show that. You look at the serials, TV serials, talking about, women not partaking in the decision making of the house. The man will do it. The woman would not do it. Isn't it? You look at all the countries where COVID-19 pandemic has been dealt with properly. The heads of those countries have been women. You must be knowing that, isn't it?
Yeah,
So women,
that is true. Of most of the that ended it, it was mostly the women leaders. They were the one good managers.
so women are constructive by nature. They produce life, they create life. So they don't want to break relationships. It is only in very few cases that they'll become like that. They always want to bind people. But if she's tortured and she's made to suffer, then they will react. Some will
Everyone
react
does. Everyone does.
to it. So largely, this is the mindset. I'm not talking about women who misuse. They are there. They are very much there. They'll be misusing. They'll take the money. They'll run away. They'll also have all kind of things. I agree with you. Every law is misused, but largely women would want a peaceful, happy life. Whether they are working or not working, married or unmarried, in whatever stage of their life. Yes.
I agree. I completely agree on that. It's more of a sensitization issue
Yeah.
with us also, and this is something that a woman has to realize. That there are there, but I would really just like to state that if from a question from a DV point of view, domestic violence point of view, uh, when would you say that when a woman is walking out, what are the steps she should take? Like, what are the acts she should go under? And, what like, she would definitely go to an NGO, find first a source of income for her or her children, whatever it is. And then again, once they've broken the conditioning, let's be very honest, they've gotten over it and they've come to a point where they want to work for themselves, then go to an NGO. But for the actions under the Domestic Violence Act and all of that, would you suggest, like, would you like to suggest any provisions or something that they should go into the police officer and just say, these are the provisions I want to file a case under?
So a woman can go under the provisions to a police officer also and say domestic violence is being committed against me. Either you go to a police officer, you go to a magistrate, you go to an NGO also.
Actually, fact of the case would decide the provisions accordingly, and the police would inform you.
No, yeah, because she may not be able to go to a magistrate straight away. But
Yeah,
got security now because she can get maintenance, she can get whatever she wants and continue staying in the house and not break her marriage.
correct,
Marriage is not broken. It's only that violence has to stop.
correct,
And
correct.
violence is different forms which are mentioned in the act, under the act. It can
Yes,
be, it can be verbal, it can be sexual, it can
financial.
be physical, it can be, yeah, mental, whatever. So she doesn't want to break the marriage. She can continue in a marriage which continue staying in the house and get maintenance for herself, her children, and life goes on till the matter is resolved. If she feels that the matter is not going to be resolved, then both of them can go for a divorce. But she will not be sent on streets. She won't be thrown on the road. She has a right to residence now, right to shelter. under the Act. That cannot be
Yeah,
taken away from her
that
now. Yes,
cannot be. That's one of the
that,
most important.
that is the beauty of this legislation.
Hmm.
Can't be thrown out. She's got protection. Come what may, she can't be thrown out. You
I
understand?
completely agree.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And if there is no place in the house, then a house and rent will be given to her, an alternate accommodation or a shelter house. You know?
So, ma'am, this is something I've also noticed is it's a very common tactic in family laws. A lot of time, what happens is like a wife has a share to the house she's living in of the husband. Now the husband takes her to a new house, takes it on rent, saying we're going to live, in a different household. You and me, we're going to enjoy. We're going to be happy. We're going to not live in a joint family. Then he slowly moves out of that household and he stops paying the rent. Now, woman cannot pay the rent because she has no resources. So this act kind of does take care of that. That if she couldn't just go find a case and then she can just ask him for a right of residence, saying you give me a place to stay, or you,
Of course, this is violence and economic abuse.
exactly economic and violence. This is mental abuse on a woman. Correct, definitely. Because a lot of these cases that men are caught up in are actually from the lower strata. If you look at it from low income groups where there is a fight for this money, and the woman is not being able to given that like I said, alcohol increases doubles the chance of
Yes,
domestic violence.
yes.
Could you elucidate on more factors like alcohol, like that
Oh,
do
yeah, unemployment, alcohol, frustration, in other way, or maybe the man is not happy at home, happy with his job, he wants a change in job, or he cannot, or maybe it could also be that the man wants a male child, and he doesn't have a male child. There are so many reasons. Dowry, because even
get
dowry
out?
demand will be covered by this legislation. And also, Section 498A and Dowry Prohibition Act would be in their places. It's not that the woman can't go under those legislations.
Yes,
Necessary.
those are additional to the
Oh, yes,
domestic violence.
simultaneously. Simultaneously. Yes, yes.
Yes, so that's a very interesting observation. That's very good because that really does help. Because we had a question by Anshul Bajaj. He had asked, can you go under the IPC and the TV Act? Like you've stated,
Of
those are
course,
additional,
of
and you
course.
can go on under both of that.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your time. It was wonderful listening to you speak, and it was just not the legal angle; it's the entire history, jurisprudence, and the economical angle that comes to it. Thank you for your time, ma'am, and thank you for answering everyone's question.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. See you again.